Right. While I was having my Kroger brand Cookie Crisp cereal, it's actually good. It doesn't have the sugar buzz that the original Cookie Crisp does, because I'm a person who loves sugar, so I know the difference between sugar cereal and when somebody's trying to pull one over on me. But Kroger's brand Cookie Crisp cereal, I can't remember the exact title, is actually good. What I was thinking of while eating that and watching the saving of my previous video on the announcement of LDS Mormon Second Coming, I have to word it to get people's attention. I was thinking about free speech and how we don't have free speech to be abusive, to be bullies, to be white supremacists. If you're not familiar with Steve King and making the news lately, and finally being removed from positions in the Senate, and Mormons. This is my channel, Mormons, my channel. It is inappropriate for you to put thumbs down on my videos. I'm communicating with you. This is not a media presentation. This is a communications presentation. So to put a thumbs down on my video is your bullying of me. And I've had Mormons who go out of their way to comment. I feel you are negative. I feel you are dark. And your tone is sarcastic. You're mean, and blah, blah, blah. Those are attacks, Mormons. And you are not free to speak that. Now, how? Are you sure? Because the First Amendment says freedom of speech. Therefore, we're free to speak whatever we want and without punishment. No, you're not. Here's how. You know how white supremacists and Mormons don't like it when they're challenged? And so what do? They retaliate by their hate speech. Yes, Mormons, your hate speech. And as a result, you guys tried to silence me. You're trying to silence my free speech. I'm not abusing you guys. Do you understand that? I'm not trolling you guys. I was born and raised Mormon. I learned the truth through study. And as a result of my study, I am warning you. That is protected speech. So for you to come onto my channel, put a thumbs down, or comment that I'm mean, abusive, wrong, or need to be silenced, which when you call me names, you are trying to silence me. You are bullying me into being silent. You are taking away my free speech. And that is a violation of the First Amendment. You're not supposed to violate another person's freedom of speech, thus bullying, thus name-calling, thus cyberbullying and trolling, thus non-disclosure agreements are crimes. They're bullying. Hold on. Okay. I have to go in a couple seconds here to pause anyway, but so do you understand that? We do not have freedom of speech to speak whatever we want, because abusive speech is a violation of free speech, because it is an attempt to take away others' rights to free speech. So in the First Amendment, you'll also notice there's the right to peacefully assemble. Peaceably assemble. You can't ban people from peacefully assembling. That's a violation of their free speech in the First Amendment. So as much as people want to protest, you can't block. Yeah, hold on. Do you see how this works? It's in the Constitution that bullying and abusive verbal speech and verbal expression are criminal behaviors. And so we have white supremacists saying, hey, I'm free to speak about the supremacy of whites and the need to exterminate, silence everyone else. That's a crime. That's a violation of the First Amendment. And Mormons, you are trying to violate my freedom of speech as I'm trying to warn you about your church. Our church. I grew up and was born and raised in it. It is not a violation of the First Amendment of free speech to protest, to criticize, to correct. But when you're trying to silence other people, and not silencing abusive behavior, we're supposed to silence abusive behavior, because that's the speech that is denied in the First Amendment of free speech. See how that works? We're supposed to silence corruption, corrupt speech, but allow good, creative, inventive speech to exist, to flow. Ideas are supposed to flow through this nation. And people come from all different nations and have all different backgrounds. And so the freedom of speech should just be elevating the whole nation. But instead, white supremacy has dominated our government, dominated our economy. And as a result, people have been suppressed, repressed, depressed, oppressed, and from being able to have free speech. And that's the civil rights movement. Blacks were denied free speech. They were considered subhuman. Women were considered subhuman and were denied free speech. And so voting rights were changed in the Constitution, added as amendments. You know, no more slavery, no more denying a vote to women and blacks. So, sorry, white supremacists and Mormons, you can't attack us in order to suppress the truth. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to mention on this. So, hope you understand, Mormons. You need to be able to be sound in your arguments for the church. And you can't do it because the church is covering up the information necessary for you to make sound defense for the church. And telling people that you have feelings isn't a sound argument. It doesn't hold water. Sorry. So, here you be. So, yeah, let me get things going here. I need to upload the video.